If you are looking for some guidance for the month of December, this is the reading for you. Hi everyone, it's Daire here, brain and biz coach for coaches, healers and behind the scenes bitches. And this month I'm joined by the fabulous Naomi, who's going to be coming along to give us a collaborative card reading for the month of December. Naomi, say hello, introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
Hi, gang. So I am an energy and empowerment mindset coach, and I use the chakra system as an intuitive guide for all the work that I do. So I do life coaching, I do business coaching, I do energy coaching, and with that, I always use my cards and card readings to help play a role in that. So as I use the chakra system as a guide, sometimes it's about colors, sometimes it's about emotions that come up, but using that system as a guide has been really transformative for myself and my clients when it comes to seeing goal setting in new ways and mindset shifts and just being intentional about where they put their energy.
So for those of you who have not hung out on a horoscope reading before, here's how it works. So if you scroll down to the description box, you will see a whole bunch of timestamps for the different signs of the zodiac. And what I want you to do is pick out the timestamp for your sun sign and your rising sign and go and watch those sections, because together they will give you the most complete reading just for you. So go do that now and we will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's start with our reading for Aries. Naomi, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so let me go ahead and shuffle up first. So Aries. Should have done this before we started, but shuffling up. All right. So I always give an interpretation of the card, the colors that come up in the card, the overall energy. So let's see what we got for Aries. All right. Ooh, Nemantona, sacred space. Create an altar or visit a power place to connect to the divine. So when I talk about Nemantona with the chakras, the first thing that comes up is always third eye energy, because it's about third eye and crown, because it's about making that space for yourself for reflection. And so the idea of creating an altar, right? Because the crown chakra is about connecting to source and connecting to the universe. And the third eye is about being open to new ideas and letting your imagination run wild. So my advice to you here is to take that time to go inward, allow that time to be quiet. Maybe change up your meditation routine is always involved with crown and third eye, and look at how you can be more meditative and reflective and use this time to let the downloads come through, knowing that when you stop and allow yourself to be quiet and create that sort of altar divine space, that's when the magic can happen. All right. Oh, okay. We've got all the third eye vibes here. So next we have Rhiannon, sorceress. She's one of my favorites. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. So a couple things to note here. Yes, she's totally in the third eye vibes. She's purple, which is perfect. And the idea of having these clear intentions that you can manifest, I truly believe that that all starts with the work of the third eye. So being a powerful sorceress is really about tapping into, once you create that sacred space, tapping into that magic and using the intuition of your visions to drive your actions this month. And the other thing to note with Rhiannon is also a little bit of solar plexus vibes. So being really clear about where your power comes from and making sure that as you're using your power, it's in this very magical way, right? That you get to sort of like brew up your own, coming from the third eye, brewing up your own visions and your own magic, and then using your solar plexus to put that into action. The other thing, just to be clear on here, using the word clear, is it's to manifest your clear intentions. So the more you can allow yourself to go inward and focus on those visions, you can make sure that the action you're taking is really aligned, and that's going to help you manifest with clear intentions instead of being scattered all over the place.
So the first card that I pulled out is Seek Seclusion. which I feel like really flows with those two cards, because it's like removing yourself, making that sacred space, that sacred time just for you to listen to yourself and your own intuition. So I think that's going to be a really big theme for any Arians watching today. So that just that reminder to, because it's great, like all of the information that we have access to is great. There are so many coaches and mentors and books and podcasts and videos and like all kinds of juicy, irresistible resources that can help us do certain things. But sometimes we pay attention to those things to the detriment of our like own inner knowing, our intuition, like what we know to be best. So just like carve out some time this month, even if it's just an hour or two, to retreat, to switch off, to unplug, and really like get back in contact with what you desire to create, what you desire to be doing, how you desire to be living, because these are the kinds of questions that are going to guide you forward in the most powerful way. You don't want to just be taking action for the sake of taking action, like ticking off more things on your to-do list just so you can feel productive. Everything that you do, you want it to be guiding you towards this vision that you have for yourself, whether that's for your life, your business, both, it doesn't matter. But make it a priority to set that time aside for you. And then I also pulled out the intention card. And this is, again, very like crown and third eye kind of feeling with the blues and the purples and the unicorn. It's all like very magical and about getting back in touch with your intuition. So I really want to encourage you to, like I said, set aside that time for yourself. And it doesn't really matter what you do with that time, as long as you're unplugged from all of the other sources of information. So like Naomi said, maybe meditation is something that really connects with you, maybe journaling, maybe pulling your own cards, maybe getting outside in nature, however it is that you feel most centered, most connected, most yourself is going to serve you really, really well. So for all of you Arians watching, I would love for you to hit the comments and just tell us, what are you going to commit to for this month that is going to create this space for you? Like this sacred space for you, for yourself, on your own, unplugged from the wide world around you. What are you going to do? What are you going to commit to? Share it in the comments. Okay, time for our Taurus reading, Naomi.
Yeah, Taurus is my moon sign, fun fact. Okay, so first we have Mawu, Mother Earth. You are called upon to help with environmentalism. And lately, well, most of 2020, when I've pulled this card, it's yes, about the physical earth, but I think it's also about the collective. And so for me, there's a lot of heart chakra vibes that come through for this. And so being tuned into the collective. And so it's kind of heart and crown to some degree, because it's a matter of where do you stand amongst the collective? What is your role amongst the collective? How can you share your gifts, your knowledge? Maybe you're meant to be a teacher, a guidance, right? The idea of Mother Earth and mothering, nurturing. And so how can you bring those nurturing vibes to those around you? The other thing then, when we talk about the heart chakra, is the reminder to nurture yourself, because we can't fill from an empty cup, right? So I think the message for Taurus this month is to make sure that you're pouring into yourself so that you can better serve those around you, also keeping in mind the greater collective. So yes, your immediate friends and family and your village, but also the greater world. And maybe that is very literal in environmentalism. Maybe it's about social justice, whatever you're passionate about amongst the collective. Now is the time to make sure that you're pouring your energy from a very loving, heart-centered space to that collective energy. Next up. Okay, I like these together. Leap of faith. Take a risk and put your heart's truest desire into action. So again, very much in the heart chakra space. I would say this also, well, it really speaks to all of the chakras, but the idea of taking that leap of faith and taking action from a place of faith we can talk about the solar plexus in that you're using your power to drive that action, but also in the upper chakras, because it's a matter of having that self-trust and trust in the universe. So when we look at these two together, I think it's really that reminder to love yourself so that you can give back, and also love yourself enough to allow the universe to meet you halfway, right? So being able to take that leap without judgment, without fear, knowing that the universe has your back. And so approaching your own actions and what you're passionate about at your heart's core and how that serves others, all of these kind of wrapped up together, is so juicy and beautiful. Great for ending the year too. So like, what can you do bringing those like in the holiday vibes? What kind of risks do you want to take setting yourself up for the new year?
Okay, so let's see what I've got. Retreat card is the first one that came up. So I think this is really like perfect given what Naomi was saying about filling your own cup and taking care of yourself. It's just this reminder to really, really do that, and to do it with intention, because we can often perform self-care or perform self-love as another box to check. So it's something on the to-do list, like we think, oh yeah, like I haven't done any self-care today, what can I do? And that doesn't really do the job. It doesn't really impact us in the way that we would like. What I would love to encourage you to do is book out a decent chunk of time to really like retreat and do the things that fuel you, whether that is reading like a really cheesy novel, like total guilty pleasure kind of thing, whether it is baking, whether it is like spending 4 hours chatting to a friend, whether it is knitting something, like whatever it is that would just let you like chill out and replenish the stores that you've been spending on other people. Make it intentional. And this is like, I want to hold you accountable here. So Taurians watching this, hit the comments and tell us exactly when you are going to be booking in your little retreat. I want like no less than 2 hours set aside this month for really like replenishing those stocks and taking care of yourself, because like I do not doubt after the year we've had this year that next year is going to be go, go, go. You're going to be like back to focusing on growing your business, growing your wealth. Like that is a very Taurian thing to be focusing on. And that's great, but you cannot do that and you cannot achieve that in a sustainable way without also taking care of yourself. And then I've also got the illusion card. So again, like what I was saying here about self-care, like being almost that extra thing on the to-do list that you do so that you can say you've done it, that doesn't count. That is an illusion of self-care. That is an illusion of taking care of yourself. I want you to be taking this seriously. Like self-care is not some stupid Instagram fad. It is something that is going to fortify you in a way that means that you can achieve the things that you say you want to achieve. So you are doing a disservice to yourself if you don't make it a real priority. If you're a fan of the tough love readings, then by all means hit subscribe, because I do these every month. Okay, now let's get going with our Gemini reading.
All right, Gemini. Ooh, I love this. Pele, Divine Passion. This is one of my favorite cards. Be honest with yourself. What is your heart's truest desire? So there's a lot of chakras that play in here, right? Pele for me is very much about the root chakra, and it's like the primal instincts of what drives you. It's your foundation. It's also because she's got that fire, that volcano calling on your solar plexus for action, and talking about your heart's truest desire. So I think the action for you here is to kind of go back to basics, right? With the root, we always talk about our foundation, our primal needs. And this is really talking about that kind of gut instinct that's coming up from the solar plexus and a little bit of listening to our heart. So the action I would take here is to really take some time and journal or meditate or whatever helps you get those downloads and clear your mind of what is really the thing. What is it that you're really passionate about? And maybe that will help you determine what your goals are going to be to end the year and to start the next year. Maybe that's about where you want your career or your business to go. And so just getting really, really true about not only what does your heart want, but what feels aligned with your gut instinct and your basic needs of your root chakra, and how can you fulfill yourself kind of from the ground up and really build that solid foundation from a place of passion. And of course, talking about passion, we have to talk about the sacral chakra a little bit, because it is about, that's where we have all of our reproductive organs and sensuality and sexuality. But so if that speaks to you, keep in mind what role that might play about your overall passions and your goals right now. But for me, it's really about listening to your fundamental needs and letting that inspire and remind you about what you're truly passionate about, so that you can act from that place. So next we have, okay, these are interesting together. So we have white Tara, sensitivity. You're becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. So again, I think this is definitely the reminder to the root chakra, because it is so much about our physical well-being, being super conscious and intentional. And again, with this being the holiday season, that can mean what you're putting into your body as far as how you're nourishing yourself, but also the words and the media and the things that you're allowing yourself to consume. So just being really mindful about and aware of things that might trigger you, of things that make you feel sensitive, and how can you sort of give back to yourself and your physical well-being and honor yourself from that place. So maybe that means you need to do a detox, right? I know a lot of people talk about starting January 1st with their detox. Maybe for you, you should be doing that during December in some way. Maybe it's a social media detox. Maybe it's, nutrition, fitness, whatever the case may be. And so I love these two together, because being able to honor your physical fundamental stability and your foundation and act from a place of passion is made that much more powerful by being mindful and honoring your sensitivities. So maybe you discover that switching up your diet is something to take in mind right now. Maybe you want to try going keto or paleo or whatever that is. And knowing that when you feel good from the inside out, you can take action from that place as well. So I love these two together.
Let's see what I've got. Okay, so this lines up perfectly. Replenish.
Mm-hmm.
So this is about being so mindful about how you are fueling yourself. And like Naomi said, that can be like in terms of your mind, like with the media you're consuming, or physically, like what are you actually putting inside your body. And we will often hear people say things like, oh, I will do that after the holidays. I'll think about that after the holidays. I'll prioritize that after the holidays. And like, why? Why are the holidays these things where we just accept we're going to put like mental and physical junk inside of our bodies? That is such a weird choice to be making. So this is your reminder that you do not have to stick with those same old habits. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that what always was is not how things will always be. And that applies to your bad habits too. So just be mindful, like be mindful of the things that you find yourself saying. Like if you notice yourself saying that you're going to delay a certain thing until a certain point, ask yourself why. Like, why really? And then the next card, which is perfect, is personal power. So this is about making empowered decisions, making decisions that serve you and serve your vision. So if you know that you want to be living in a certain way or working in a certain way or achieving a certain kind of result, it is in your power to make the decisions to make that happen. We do the work that we do for a reason. We make the choices we make for a reason. We all started running these businesses for a reason, and chances are it's because we wanted a new kind of freedom or a new kind of security or something along those lines. If that is the case for you, then just be mindful of that when you go about making your smaller decisions too, because it's very easy to like keep the vision or the intention or the dream in mind when you're making like big life altering decisions. That's easy. The difficulty is making the teeny tiny day-to-day decisions in line with that vision too. So just like be your own taskmaster here, like really hold yourself accountable to the things that you keep saying you want, and make sure that what you do and what you choose is in line with that. And this is a message for me as much as any of you. Like, I'm a Gemini too, so like I'm taking this in too, but this is what you need to be thinking about for the whole month of December. These are going to be the themes that you're going to see coming up time and time again, so pay attention. And of course, like, if there's anything that you would like us to hold you accountable for, pop it in the comments. Like, if you are committing to making a certain kind of decision differently this month, leave a comment and we will come along, cheer you along, and keep you on track with this. Okay, now it is time for our Cancer reading. Naomi?
All right, Cancer. Another one of my favorites. They're all my favorites. Aphrodite, inner goddess. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. So the first thing that's coming up here that I feel I have to share is, because Cancer is in the summer months, I get this very like warm, free-flowing energy. Like Aphrodite very much aligns with that summer energy. So I love this card for you, Cancer. And this idea of awakening the goddess within you. And when we talk about all these different archetypes, the priestess, the goddess, the queen, some of them can feel more masculine, more feminine. And for me, I always think of goddess with both, with that polarity. But this is really your invitation to tap into the feminine side specifically of your inner goddess. So the invitation here is to ask yourself, what makes you feel like a goddess? And so it really brings about the sacral chakra for me here. The sacral chakra is associated with the element of water, so very much in flow, honoring ebbs and flows, moving through resistance, and creativity and pleasure. So the latter here, the creativity and pleasure, is really what I want you to tap into and honor your sacral chakra here. So asking yourself, what brings you joy in creative expression? So maybe that is dance, maybe it's just putting on music, maybe it's art. And so getting in tune with, again, the idea of self-care and appreciating your divinity. The reminder I want to give you here is that self-care can seem, self-care is really the ultimate form of boundaries. Boundaries often feel restrictive and limiting, but I want you to flip the script and think about boundaries in a way that's liberating and freeing, that will let your inner goddess come out. So what sort of boundaries do you need to set? How can you set aside time for self-care? How can you set aside time for creative expression? Knowing that when you do, that's what's going to bring you that balance. That's what's going to allow you to move through any resistance that's coming up. So if you find yourself feeling stuck or feeling like you're coming up against resistance, or you feel burnout coming on, that's your reminder. Tap into your inner goddess, tap into that self-care, tap into the creativity, and remind yourself that you have this kind of queen-like goddess power within you. And so how can you honor that? Next up, Sige, quiet time. Take some quiet time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. So in theory, this would seem very much of the upper chakras, because it's that time to meditate and contemplate. So the reminder I want to give you here, when you fold the chakras in half, there's a counterpart from upper and lower chakras. So the sacral chakra, which we talked about with Aphrodite, is aligned with the third eye. And so I think that's your reminder here with the quiet time, is that idea for quiet time and contemplation and taking some time alone is the perfect mirror for this idea of the creativity and the self-care. When we talk about these ways to release for your sacral chakra and honoring that, it's often a question of who does that involve, right? Are there certain people in your life that allow you time for play, pleasure, creativity? But I think the reminder here is that you can rely on yourself. And so how can you make a little time for yourself? Maybe you're at home for the holidays. Can you go lock yourself in your room and dance? Can you go sit on the porch by yourself and draw? What can you do to give yourself some time alone? And how can you use creativity as a meditative practice?
Okay, let's see what I have for you. Okay, so this could not be more relevant given what Naomi has just said. So this is the compassion card, and it's all about taking time alone. So like she said, like taking that time on your own to do the creative work that will refuel you. And this is about really like not just the creative work, but any kind of activity that will center you. So things like grounding exercises, meditations, just sitting in pure silence, journaling, like using affirmations if you use those, like anything that makes you feel like connected to who you are and what you really want. Like this is just your reminder that this month you are going to need that, and you are going to have the time and space to do that, which is perfect. So I think sometimes people naturally assume that the holidays are going to be like so full and so busy and so out of your control, and that doesn't have to be the case. Like you get to decide what your time looks like, so you get to decide if you are going to carve out that space for yourself or not. And then what came up with the next card is the unconditional love card. And this is like, so when you look at the image, it looks very much like the love between two people. But I see this as like love towards yourself. So paying attention to what you really need and giving yourself that. To me, that's what love is. If you think about it in terms of a relationship, you would do that in a relationship. You would take note of what the other person needs, and then you would try to give them that. But we so often do not do the same for ourselves. So I want you to be just really, really mindful of that this month and just pay attention to what you need. And that could be, it could be some time alone. It could be some time doing a fun thing. It could be that making yourself a particular meal or taking yourself out for a walk on your own. Like it could be the smallest little things that will make the biggest difference. So just pay attention, listen to the nudges, listen to what your intuition is telling you about what you need physically, emotionally, energetically, mentally, in terms of your relationships, in terms of your physical environment. Just pay attention and try to give yourself a little bit of that thing. Okay, so let's move on to our Leo reading.
Okay, Leo, let's see. I love this one. Vesta, home. Your household situation is improving either through a move or healthy change in occupants. Now that's the literal interpretation here. For me, when we talk about home, first up, yes, let's talk about the physical space because we're talking about the holidays. This card is all about warmth. You as a Leo bring that warmth naturally. And so reminding yourself during the holidays, how can you get warm and cozy, right? And maybe that's in your physical home, but it's also like in your mental and emotional state. How can you make yourself feel warm and cozy? What brings you those warm fuzzies? And really pouring into that right now. Maybe it's, curling up and watching your favorite holiday movies. Maybe it's doing puzzles. Maybe it's whatever it is that, FaceTime with your best friends, getting on a Zoom call with your whole family if you can't be with them for the holidays. Just bringing those warm, cozy vibes. Like, thinking about like, how can you reach like the max cozy, right? If you've got that like thermometer meter, like how can you get to that top of that cozy meter? That is your goal right now. The other piece here is about the idea of coming home to yourself. And so during the holidays, when you allow that time for rest and you allow yourself to soak up all those cozy vibes, how does that bring a reflection on your truest self? And how can you take that time during the holidays, carving out the times that you do have to slow down and get cozy? How can you use that time to pour into yourself and come home to yourself, right? So for me, when we relate this to the chakras, we get, for me, the root chakra, because it's about stability. Anything having to do with the home is very much root chakra related, because we're talking about security, stability, your foundation, feeling grounded, and also to some degree your solar plexus here, because it is associated with fire and warmth and your truest self, where your sense of power comes from. So I think the reminder here is to just pour into that time, pour into those activities that make you feel grounded, reflect on what makes you feel stable and cozy in every realm of your life, not just your business, not just your relationships, your physical environment, all the things. So that's your reminder number one. And next we have, Leo. Like this could not be more perfect for Leo, I feel. Dana, High Priestess. You have divine knowledge that can help others through spiritual teaching. I personally find Dana to be very much in that like fierce femme vibe. So that like Beyonce kind of vibe here. And so again, this idea of coming home to your truest self and bringing that warmth, letting that fuel that fire. So this is very much solar plexus for me here. And tapping into your divine power. So we also then have to talk about your upper chakras. I mean, hello, she's wearing a crown, so we have to talk about it. So allowing yourself to receive those divine downloads and letting whatever knowledge or, deep inner knowing that comes to you, right? So it's a matter of the divine knowing that's coming from source, from universe, whatever you subscribe to, as well as the inner knowing at your gut. So your crown and your solar plexus, and reminding yourself that that fuels your power and showing up as a fucking queen right now. So getting really cozy, getting really warm and in touch with who you are so that that lights your fire to show up as a queen, as a priestess.
Okay. So first card that came up for me was the intuition card. So when I think about this like queen kind of energy, and like when I think about the conversations I've had about that in the past, it's like people have this preconceived notion of what queen energy is like. So they think it's like that, it's always that like Beyonce kind of fire, like the hair flicks and the like sashing through life, like not caring, like be like encrusted in diamonds, like having all of the wealth and all of the fierceness. And that could be true for you, but it's also possible that like being in that like queen vibe for you is something completely different. So you might feel like a queen when you are like at home, elbows deep in a mixing bowl. You might feel like a queen when you are skinny dipping. You might feel like a queen when you are like all dressed up for date night. There are so many different things that could make a person feel like a queen. The key is knowing what yours is, because when you know what yours is, you can tap into that. You can curate that for yourself and you can call it in way more of the time. If you like stay with this mindset of like a queen archetype looks a certain way and behaves a certain way and is this exact thing, then you are like, chances are limiting yourself. You are making that too far removed from who you are day to day. And you might be like creating this persona that doesn't even resonate with you, because like maybe you don't want to be this beacon that's like dressed all in diamonds that everyone's watching doing the hair flicks. Like that could be a life goal for many of us, but not all of us. Like not all of us resonate with that. And so when we talk about intuition, we think also about our own interpretations of the different concepts that we hear talked about. So the queen archetype is one of those. So I want you to really spend some time thinking about what being a queen or being like a goddess would mean to you. Like, what's your version of that? And I want you to leave us a comment and tell us, like, what does being a queen look like for you? And then the second card that came up for me was the purification card. So this is all about clarity. And so very much like what we've been talking about here is like getting clear on what these things mean for you. So like Naomi was saying, like coming home to yourself, like what does that actually look like for you? Being the queen, what does that look like for you? Because we all have our different perspectives, our different lenses, our different interpretations. And mine are not always going to be the most helpful for you. Naomi's are not always going to be the most helpful for you. The Instagram influencers you follow, their perspectives are not always going to be the most helpful for you. So your work here is going to be to decide and get clear on what your perception actually is, free from any other voices, free from any other information. Like, what does this stuff look like for you? Because when you have that clarity, you can claim all of the good stuff, all of it. Okay, let's get cracking with our Virgo reading.
Yes. Okay. So Virgo's my rising and Taurus. So let's see what we got. Okay. Ishtar, boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. So this relates to a lot of the chakras, but in particular, for today, for you, Virgo, I'm going to say that we're talking about the sacral and the heart chakra more than anything else. So the idea of self-love and loving ourselves, that's where the heart chakra comes in, allowing ourselves to be open, compassionate with ourselves, because when we do, we can be compassionate and loving towards others. And then also the sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra is about doing that self-care, honoring the boundaries, the balance that allows us to move through resistance to avoid burnout. And so the reminder here, especially during holiday season, especially for Virgos, I think this is so crucial, that could be your reminder to slow down. This could be your reminder to set those boundaries so that you avoid the burnout and fatigue. And again, knowing that boundaries don't have to limit you. They don't need to feel restrictive. They should feel freeing. They should feel liberating, because when you set and honor those boundaries, you invite so much more in during the action time, right? So boundaries might be like, okay, what do I need to do for self-care? What do I need to do to be quiet? Do I need to set the reminder in my phone to take a breather, right? Do I need to set the boundaries of who I'm willing to spend my time with, what conversations I'm willing to have over the holidays? Knowing that by honoring those, you're not putting up a wall, right? A lot of times, again, this idea of boundaries being restrictive, I want to break that myth. I don't want you to feel that setting up a boundary of how you're spending your time and who you're spending your time with is, in a sense, putting up a guard or putting up a wall. I want you to think of it as a way of actually lowering your guard, because you are allowing yourself the time and space to honor your physical, mental, and emotional needs, which means that you then get to show up for the people that you do value, that you are available for, that much more. And so I think that's sort of your reminder here. And Ishtar, again, like, she's a badass, right? She's not like shrinking in the corner of like, oh, I need to set boundaries because I'm afraid or anything, right? It's like, I'm setting these boundaries with a purpose, with intention, because it matters to me, because I get to show up as the best version of me, to be the best mother, partner, employee, manager, CEO. So really keeping that in mind, that boundaries, when you win, everybody wins. And that's what should fuel the boundaries you set right now. Next we have, I see, past life. The situation involves past life memories. So again, that's the very literal. The thing I would invite you to do right now, again, during the holiday season, we're talking about things with our families. And so it's not uncommon for generational or past life trauma, wounds, triggers, things to come up. And so less about the past life, but more the past chapters and the past versions of you are what I really want to remind you of here. And again, using that to help you set those boundaries. So tapping into the previous version of you who maybe did not make the time for herself, who maybe did not give themselves the space from the people and things that they needed to, and kind of taking a lesson from past you and taking a moment to reflect and remind yourself of, okay, in the past, these are things that triggered me. These are people, situations that triggered me. How can I set and honor a boundary from a loving place that will fuel me and not back me into a corner or cause me anxiety or stress, especially during the holidays? So I think it's really, again, that invitation to get honest with yourself about the previous versions of you. And that is very much about celebrating, right? Celebrating the growth that you have had over the last month, year, whatever the time period is, and honoring the lessons that you can gain from the previous versions of yourself so that you can give yourself love and honor who you are now and move forward with compassion.
Okay, so let's see what I've got. Ooh, abundance. And so I think, as Naomi said, when we are surrounded by certain, let's say, family situations and dynamics, we can be reminded of the person that we used to be. And we can revert back to behaviors that we perhaps used to have when we were younger, when we were in those situations more frequently. And we can often leave the gatherings feeling really crappy, even not just because of what other people have said perhaps, but also because you're like, why did I say that? Why did I go back to being a teenager last night? And it can feel like this hangover of just all of the swirling negative stuff that comes out to play during the holidays. I want to challenge you to really think about the abundance of lessons that you learned as the past you, and also the things that it has made possible for you now, because you are doing this work that you're doing now because of what came before. So you learned particular skills, or you were instilled with particular beliefs, or you were modeled a certain vision of the world, or maybe you're doing what you're doing now to distance yourself from your past because it's the opposite of what you saw in your past. That counts as a lesson too. So I want you to, if you have any family stuff planned over the holiday seasons, or if you think you're going to have to come together in a group of people that maybe don't always bring out the best in you, before you do that, before you engage, just take 20 minutes to write down all of the lessons that you've learned, all of the lessons that your relationships with those particular people helped you learn, and what those lessons have made possible for you now. Because what this will do is it will snap you into a different kind of mindset. So instead of that low dread that you feel in the pit of your stomach, you will be aware of the abundance, the flow, the possibility, the good stuff, and that will probably see you through to the other side of the social event. So that's the first card, and then the other one is the give back card. So this is and I already know before I say this that this is going to present a challenge for many people. So I've talked already about paying attention to the lessons that you learned and what it's made possible. And I want you to really challenge yourself to share that kind of mindset with the people that you come into contact with. And it doesn't have, you don't have to give them this homework to do. I'm not talking about something that overt, but you can share your gratitude about something. You can say thank you for, and then tell them something that you are grateful for. You can like reminisce over positive memories that you've shared together. You can give them a heartfelt compliment. Like, it doesn't have to be something big, just like a few words can make a huge difference to a relationship dynamic. And I want you to remember that it's not always about being in the right or like winning a lifelong disagreement with somebody or any of that stuff. Like, sometimes you can choose being happy over being right. You can choose to be the bigger person. You can choose to go into these things with like this positive head on, with like this discerning mind of like what you want to call into your life. And if you want to call in abundance and opportunity and happiness and joy, then bring that to the table, even if it happens to be your family that are sat around that table. So this is like really holiday centric this time, but that's what's come up for these cards. So if you are resonating with this, if this is your reading, I want you to hit the comments and tell us, like, what is one thing, like one lesson that you've learned from your history? Just one. Like, you don't have to give us any context. Just share like one amazing lesson that you've learned that has made something better for you now, that has made something more possible for you. Share it in the comments and let's get those good vibes flowing. Okay, now let's move on to our Libra reading.
Okay, let's see what the scales hold. Okay. Artemis, the guardian. You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. So right off the bat, this is perfect at holiday season. I feel like this is a reminder as we are coming to the end of 2020 that everyone needs more than ever, right? So when we think about guardian for your chakras, there's very much connected to the root chakra, right? Because you're honoring your roots and you've got protection from a guardian, which may be someone in your ancestral line that's here to protect you. And it's also about, I think, your solar plexus, right? She's even got that fire there. And it's the idea that as well as your crown chakra. So we've kind of got the lower, middle, and upper that are all sort of tied in here, because when you have that true knowing and true faith in what I call Gus, God, universe, source, whatever you subscribe to, that you are being protected and cared for and guided in a divine way, when you truly trust that and you trust that the universe has your back, you are able to take action from this aligned place, from your fire center of your solar plexus. And on the flip side, when you know that you are honoring your roots, that can fuel your power as well. So I think the reminder here when it comes to the action that you are thinking about taking is twofold. One, knowing that you are protected, knowing that you are guided. So it's like, we don't need to have any fears right now. We can put anxiety aside, right? And also, especially with this holiday season reminder, that it might be a time to reflect on how can you really honor your ancestral line? Is there something, are there certain traits or certain traditions that you are wanting to uphold for your family? Now is a good time to be thinking about that. And really, it's just your permission slip in some way to take the action that feels right in your gut, that feels right for you, knowing that you are protected. It's almost like you can do no wrong right now because you're protected. It's the same idea as having like infinite supply, right? When we trust that we are provided for, we can take action without limitation, right? And so that's sort of your permission slip here. Next we have, okay, I love these together. Medicine woman. You are a channel for divine healing power. So there's very much an ancestral theme going on here, because in many communities and traditions, the idea of being a medicine woman is something that is generational and sort of passed down, that you have that healing. And so what I want to invite you to do is ask yourself a few things. One, what is your healing power? How can you heal others and heal yourself, right? What knowledge, what skill set, what traits do you have that bring healing? Knowing that this may be called upon during this month, during the holiday season, as we move into the new year. And again, the reminder that that could mean healing for yourself. It could mean healing for those around you. And again, this idea of going back to your roots and back to your ancestral line and thinking about what sort of power and healing and knowledge do you have that's unique to you from your family line? What sort of things have been passed down that empower you? Medicine woman and the guardian as well, both very empowered, right? Both taking this action from this confidence place, right? So very much solar plexus vibes. Also with medicine woman, it also brings up some heart chakra vibes, because that matter of healing and soothing the heart and being able to heal yourself and heal others. So again, this idea that you can take that action to heal yourself and others without any fear. Or if you're someone who is maybe starting to dabble in your own side of woo, perhaps, right? Like if you're creating a new business, or if you think that you might have a divine gift for mediumship or something like that, this is sort of your invitation to get curious and get playful about what those nudges might be telling you and what sort of healing power you might have, and that it's time to unleash that and to unleash your power in this confidence, knowing that you're supported, knowing that your ancestral line is, fueling all of it for you.
Okay, so the first card I pulled out for my Libra friends is Seek Seclusion. So this is like such a quiet, restful card. Like, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's like a woman here just sleeping in the forest surrounded by flowers. And this to me tells me that December is not a month for you to be like nose to the grindstone, getting work done, trying to hustle and finish projects and putting them out there. This is a time to go inwards. This is a time to like take not necessarily time off, but time to work on your stuff. So like the inner work, the self-reflection, the mindset stuff, the like anything that you need to heal that's yours. And then the second card that I pulled for you is sleep. So again, like very similar theme. And like when we sleep, obviously that's when our healing happens. Like when we're physically injured, our healing happens while we sleep. So this is just telling me that this is going to be a season for you to really like double down on your own healing and your own work. And that is what is going to equip you to then like move forward and help other people in a much more profound way. Because when you can work on your stuff first, you build this really strong foundation, this strong container that you can then like bring forth for other people. So really, like, I'm keeping it short and sweet. This month is for you is going to be a lot about rest, reflection, inner work. Some of that might feel a bit sticky. That's okay. You have this time, you have this space, you can do it. And it's really, really going to benefit you both in your business and in your life and in your relationships and in all of the places. So allow it to be your priority for the month of December. Okay, now it's time for Scorpio.
All right, here we go. Ooh, this is a good one. Yemanya, golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you now. Walk through them. So this is a great card to be ending the year on. I love that we're bringing this sense of possibility and joy to the month for you. So I think two things here. One, if you've been feeling like you're stuck in a rut or you don't think it's whatever the thing is going to happen, this is sort of your reminder to keep that faith. And when you have that faith and when you notice that there could be an opportunity, to not be afraid to take the action to walk through that door and explore and get curious about any opportunity that might be a positive possibility for you. So when we talk about the chakras here, she is related to water, so that gives me some sacral vibes, as well as tapping into the upper chakras. So when we talk about your third eye and crown, so allowing yourself to really dream big. Maybe this is a time to do a vision board, right? Instead of, don't wait until January to create your vision board for the new year. Do it now. Do it now. Do a vision board just for this month of how you want the year to end. Because the more you bring that vibe of what you're inviting in, the more those golden opportunities are going to find their way to you. So it's the reminder to trust your intuition, to trust your visions, to lean into the newness, to be open to new ideas and new possibilities. Also knowing that the golden opportunity might come when you least expect it or from a source you're not expecting. And so I think really the idea of curiosity here is going to be really important. I always say you can't be angry and curious or sad and curious at the same time. So allow yourself to lean into that curiosity. Like I said, if you feel like you've been stuck on something and like wishing it would just be different, flip that script and say, what could be possible? What do I want to become possible? Because as you lean into that mindset, moving from a scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset, those golden opportunities are going to find you. So just having that faith that's coming to you. And again, this idea that being with the water, that like it could just flood in at any time, and honoring the ebbs and flows, knowing that timing is everything for you right now. And next we have Brigitte, don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right. And I think these two really play nicely together. So initially the idea of not backing down is very much from a solar plexus vibe, being confident and taking powerful aligned action, but you can't do that unless you are open to possibility, open to new ideas, trusting your intuition. So letting these two sort of play together. And again, instead of being in that scarcity mindset of, oh, things just aren't going my way, flip it to, I'm not going to back down. I want what I want. I want the thing that I am striving for. And this is one of my favorite phrases to teach you. Instead of saying like, I'm stuck or I wish this was different, I want to invite you to say out loud, to journal, I am open to, ready for, and worthy of, fill in the blank, abundance, love, success, money, joy, peace, whatever it is, and really have that faith and don't back down from that vision. So yes, it's a matter of taking action and being confident in your action, but it's also a matter of being confident in your mind and your vision, because when you do that, again, the golden opportunities come. So lots of excitement and joy here, I think, for Scorpio. Very excited to see what you are open and ready to receive.
Okay, so this card has come up for you guys from me, which is the replenish card. So really like taking care of yourself and refueling yourself. And that might be mentally refueling yourself, physically refueling yourself with rest. It can be whatever you need. But like Naomi was saying, is when we do that, when we can take care of ourselves, that's when the golden opportunities will come up. And sometimes that replenishment means having boundaries in place, standing your ground, acting in a way that feels most in integrity and alignment for you. And it's not always the easiest thing to do. It's not, like, we know that, but it is the thing that will benefit you the most. It's the thing that is going to make the biggest difference to the way you feel about your life, about your work. Like staying strong is going to serve you in so many different ways. And then the next card that came up was the kindness card. And I feel like this is just the reminder that staying strong, having boundaries, standing up for what you believe in is a kindness. There is nothing kinder than being clear. And I know it can feel like, oh, like if I enforce boundaries, then I'm being a bitch, like I'm being this, I'm being that, I'm not being flexible, I'm not being nice to people. And that's very, very rarely the case. When you're a people pleaser, when you say yes to everybody, that is in itself a form of manipulation, and manipulation is not kind. It's a way of getting what you want from people, and it's a sneaky, subtle way of doing it. And I know that I am a former people pleaser myself. Like, most of my clients are either people pleasers or recovering people pleasers. So I'm probably irritating the shit out of you right now. But people pleasing is a form of manipulation. It is not you being kind. And I know you like to tell yourself that that's what it is, but it's not. So I want you to really just be mindful of this as you go through the month of December, because you do have the potential for all of those golden opportunities. Like Naomi was saying, like the world is your literal oyster. You could have anything you want, but you need to do your part too. You need to be refueling yourself, and you need to be standing up for what you know to be true. Now let's move on to our Sagittarius reading.
Okay, first up, we have Irene, peace. There's no need to worry, as everything is working out beautifully. So I'm going to guess that maybe there's been some stress, some anxiety, some uncertainty, and this is really the reminder to calm that. We always talk about peace and joy during the holidays, and this could not be a better time, a better reminder for you, Sagittarius, right now to really lean into that and lean into that trust and knowing that everything is going to work out perfectly. And so I think there's a lot of definitely upper chakra vibes here in that knowing and that trusting that everything's going to be okay. Also some root chakra vibes, right? So maybe what has felt, maybe you feel like the ground is shaky beneath you, right? Very much uncertainty or unstable and cracks in the foundation. And that's uncertainty and fear from the root chakra. And so this is your invitation to calm that, to lean into peace. So activities that I would invite you to do would be anything grounding. So whether that's yoga, whether that's walking outside, anything that's going to make you feel grounded and centered right now. So that when we think about the roots of a tree, when those roots are strong, even when the wind blows, the tree barely moves, right? The tree remains tall and peaceful. And that is the vibe that you are being invited to evoke right now. It also is very possible that others around you need you to be that strong foundation right now. So the more that you can bring peace to yourself, you can provide peace for others. Next up. Okay, Diana, focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. So definitely solar plexus vibes here, but also going back to that root, right? It's very much that like unwavering, that stable, that I don't want to say stillness, right? But it's when you have that solid foundation, no matter what happens on top, you're good, right? So keeping that clear intention, keeping the alignment there. So also relying on your upper chakras to provide you with the knowing and the intention so that any action that you will take this month is very much focused. And I think the idea of going back to peace and that everything is going to work out perfectly is we don't need to hustle, right? The hustle might not be what's going to serve you best right now. So allow yourself the time for peace, making sure that the action that you do take, you don't need to be taking all this frantic, hustly action all the time. It's almost like, what's the animal I'm thinking of? That's like, almost like you're not stalking your prey, but like you're so focused on what you need to do that you can be slow, you can be methodical, you can be thought out about the actions that you're taking, knowing that they are super aligned, knowing that when you are calm and rooted, the action that you're taking, that's when you, right? Like picture, she's got this bow and arrow. Picture that you're going to be shooting at a target. If you have a wobbly hand or your feet are unstable, you're not going to hit that mark. So the reminder overall really here is to just get grounded and in that it's okay to be slow. It's a matter of quality over quantity here. So not just taking action to take action, taking action from an aligned, focused, calm place.
Okay, so the first card that I pulled out was the unconditional love card. And this one to me feels very like magical and spiritual because it's full of like fairies and rainbows and all of these whimsical things. And so I think it's just really like an echo of that piece, and that you can create that piece for yourself. You Like, I do not doubt for a second, if you are here watching this video, you have the tools to do that. You have the resources, you have the experience, you have everything that you could need to make sure that you are creating peace for yourself. Like Naomi said, like, this is not the time for you to be hustling and forcing things. This is the time for you to be like slower and more methodical and more discerning, and really deciding at every turn like what you are going to do and what you are going to be. It's not about just doing all of the things so that you can feel busy or you can feel productive. Let's see what else we've got. The other card I pulled up is the affirmations card. So I think like coming up with a few like power mantras for yourself just to keep this front of mind. Like, so relating to the themes of peace and flow and slowness and intention and discernment, and you like weaving in these words in a way that resonates for you. I'm not going to give you affirmations. I want you to take these words and these themes away and create them for yourself, and just rewrite them every day. Like, even if it's on a post-it, just write your own list of affirmations once a day for the month of December. And I would love it if you'd hit the comments and share some of those affirmations with us. But I want you to really make this part of your practice just for this month and see what kind of difference it makes. See how much it changes the amount of peace that you actually have in your business. Like, it's very rare for us to actually actively insert peace into the way we work. Usually we're thinking more about, I want to be more productive, or I want to make more money, or I want to be more creative. We're not thinking, I want to be more peaceful. And that's something that I really want you to take with you all month long. Like, that is the goal for December: peace. Okay, so it's time for our Capricorn reading, which is Naomi's sun sign. So let's see what homework she's giving herself.
Let's see what I've got for myself and my fellow Caps. Okay. First up, we've got Maeve, cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. So quite literally, this relates to the sacral chakra if we're talking about our feminine cycle. So the first invitation there is, have you tried cycle syncing your business? Are you in tune with your cycle? And do you allow yourself that time to honor the different phases of your hormonal cycle and of life and business? I know myself as a Capricorn, the idea of the hustle and the idea of the perfectionism and wanting to move on to the next thing, honoring the shift between phases and between cycles can be really tough, right? When we talk about the seasonal shifts, autumn, for example, very much about celebration. And I know that a lot of us Capricorns struggle with allowing ourselves the pause and the reflection to celebrate and to look at what maybe didn't go as well before we move on to the next thing. So this is really your invitation to tune into the cycles and the seasons of your life and your business, your family, your priorities right now, and making sure that you are very intentional, right? Like following the idea of the seasons. Are you taking that time for winter? We're in winter. Are you taking that time to go inward, to breathe beauty into the mystery that comes with darkness, right? When we move into spring, it's about having the ideas. But if we don't honor winter and we don't allow ourselves to lean into the possibility of what can be born out of darkness, then spring's not going to be as fruitful. And then when we move into spring, it's about the ideas and getting really excited about that, so that when we move into summer and take action, it's very aligned. And then when we move, again, like I said, into autumn, it's your time to celebrate, to reflect, to look at what went well and what didn't, so that you can recalibrate for the next year. So as we come to the end of 2020, maybe reflect back on what have the cycles of your life and business been over the last year? And what phase are you in right now? Are you in winter, as we are literally right now? Or are you in a different phase of your life and business? And being really clear on, is this a time for rest? Is this a time for action? Is this a time for celebration? And being very intentional with those different seasons of life and business. Next up. Okay, these go very well together. Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter the outward appearance may be. So, of course, we are talking about the heart chakra here, and the idea of honoring our cycles and rhythms and our seasons of life and of business and all areas of life can be made that much more profound when we are sure that we are showing ourselves love. And I know this is not a personal trait that I have as a Capricorn, but expressing emotions can be a slippery slope. And so now is the time to really, again, start with yourself, show yourself that love, knowing that the vibe of when you win, everyone wins is going to be kind of your theme right now. So when you can show love to yourself, you can show love to others. When you can honor your energy and your cycles, everyone wins. So again, it's this matter of this, like, take that relief, give yourself a moment to have that relief, to show yourself some love, to honor the cycles, right? So the overall vibe I'm getting here is the reminder that when it's time to slow down, it's time to slow down. The goals will always be there. The more you show yourself the love, the better chances you have of manifesting and achieving the goals. So make sure that you are pouring inward first and being really mindful of what your mind, body, and soul needs each day. And so this could mean that maybe you start and or end your day by asking yourself, what does my mind, body, soul need today? Rather than what does the to-do list tell me I have to do? So that's a reminder to myself as well. So get out there, Capricorns, and show yourself some love so that you can slay.
So you can't make this shit up. The first and context, when I was shuffling, this one card jumped out twice before I actually said, okay, fine, we'll use this card. But it's the kindness card. And so again, it's this reminder that we need to think about what our minds, body, souls need before we think about what our business needs. And that can be really difficult when our business feels like an extension of ourselves, when it's something we're really passionate about and we love so much and we are so invested in. They can feel like one and the same, but they are not. You're a human first and a business owner second. So even if that means taking 10 minutes before you get down to work to just focus on what your being really needs in the moment, the difference to your day and to your level of effectiveness. Let's talk to the Capricorns. Your level of effectiveness will be way up there if you can prioritize what you physically need first or emotionally need. And then this is hilarious. Unconditional love. Just to really bring the point home, I'm going to pull you another card because you've already had that one. Vibration. So this is the reminder that when you treat yourself with kindness, you attract kindness. When you treat yourself with love, you attract love. And in terms of business, that can mean people raving about you and recommending you to their friends. It can be getting amazing testimonials. It can be making sales. It can be being offered exciting opportunities to collaborate. But you need to do your part. And your part is treating yourself with kindness and with love. Because if you can't do that for yourself, how can you expect other people to? So the message for my Capricorn friends this month is to just really treat yourself well, and to just for a month, just give it a go. Try prioritizing yourself over your business. If it doesn't work for you, you have full permission to go back to your old ways in January, but I have a feeling that you won't need to. So there we go, Caps. Go get it. Okay, now it's time for our Aquarians in the room.
All right, let's see what we got. I mean, Lakshmi, bright future. What more could you ask for? Stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. So Lakshmi really can be associated with any chakra. The idea of this bright future and this shining light, very much solar plexus, in that when you shine your light, goodness and brightness will be reflected back to you, and also knowing that that light inside you fuels you, right? That's where you take your action from. And also knowing that you can do all of that. You can shine your light. You can be your brightest self. You can take the aligned action when you stop worrying, when you know that you are guided and supported and everything's going to be fine. There's no need to worry. There's no need to dim your light, right? So I think this is really, more than anything, this is your permission slip to shine bright. Shine your light, take your action from that shining place. It could also be a sense of what areas of your life or those around you do you need to shed your light on, right? Maybe someone in your life really needs your light now more than ever. Maybe they need to be illuminated to something, right? What can you, coming from a place of power and light, shine on any situation right now? And second, we have, okay, perfect follow-up, Athena, inner wisdom. You know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So definitely solar plexus as well as third eye here. So trusting what your mind and your intuition are telling you is right, and also feeling it in your gut so that you're taking, as it says, appropriate action. So the idea here is, again, taking the action that's aligned, that keeps moving you forward, that stays in that bright light. I want you to think this month of like that beam of light going down your path and taking the action that's within that light. So if there's something that's like, oh, it's kind of off in the darkness and maybe it's kind of interesting, don't get distracted. Stay the course, stay in what the light is shining you to do, trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, and trusting where that light is guiding you. Also, I feel the need to say here, be weary of shiny object syndrome, right? So yes, we can have bright future and we're shining our light, and yes, we're trusting our inner wisdom. So if something bright and shiny pops up out of nowhere, just allow yourself to really reflect and get curious before you act on it. Is that something that's just a case of shiny object syndrome, or is it a new opportunity that's worth pursuing? And trust your intuition and trust your gut on it before acting. So lots of brightness, lots of trusting your gut and acting from that place, and to ease any sense of worry, knowing that your intuition and your gut are there to guide you.
Okay, let's see. Oh, exploration. And the card, right, that the image at the top of the card is a compass. So I think like it's really about going in one direction and staying in the course, not wavering, not, like Naomi said, like getting distracted by things that look kind of interesting, just like staying on this path with focus towards this thing that you keep saying you want. And then perfect, intuition. So like you don't need any more confirmation than that. You are absolutely on the right path. You are going in the right direction. You are focusing on the right thing. And just for this 1 month, for the month of December, don't let yourself waver from that path. Don't allow like new opportunities, new exciting ideas to distract you from what you're trying to do. Like that's not to say that those things won't have their day too. Like you can, like if an idea floats in, if an opportunity comes in, make a note of it and park it. You can come back to it later. For now, I want you to really just try to be like discerning and focused on this one thing that you have been trying to bring to life. Like this is going to be a month for you to do that. With a lot of the signs, the theme is very much on rest and reflection and taking downtime. For you, that is not the case. For you, it's about taking intentional action and doing the thing and creating the thing. This is going to be a really amazing time for you to actually like bring to life this thing that you've been wanting to put out there. So do it. Do the thing. And let us know what the thing is. Share it in the comments. Leave a comment telling us what is the one thing you're going to focus on for the month of December so that we can come and cheer you on. And last but not least, let's get going with our Pisces reading.
All right, Pisces, here we go. Okay, nobody get scared. Fertility, Ostara. I always want to preface this by saying it does not necessarily mean you are with child or will be soon. It is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. So very much going from third eye down into solar plexus and root, I feel. So it's taking those new ideas, being open to new ideas, right? The spring vibe. So when we talk about the cycles and the seasons of our life and our business, embrace the idea of moving into spring right now. Assess that if that is the right time for you, and know that you're being guided to pursue the new ideas, the new projects, the new passions that you might be interested in, knowing that you can give birth to something new right now. So maybe you are looking to make a shift in your life or your business. Maybe there's a new offer that you're putting out. Maybe there's a new strategy you want to try. This is your invitation to take those ideas that are coming into your third eye and put them into action to bring it into the physical plane, right? So very much of the root, making it physical and right here for us. And kind of trusting those joyful spring vibes and sort of leaning into those new ideas with positive possibility and joy, just raising the vibration as you birth something new, which does not necessarily mean a child, but if that's what you're going for, maybe it is. Mazel. Next up, we have, okay, these are perfect together. Cordelia, go outside. You've been indoors too long. Go outside and get some fresh air. So in quarantine world, this could not be more perfect. Both of these are very much connected with nature, with plants, with flora and fauna. And so if you are in a place that you can't really go outside due to the weather, I invite you to try doing it, right? Maybe it's time to go do a polar plunge, access those new ideas, wipe things off with a fresh, clean, invigorating slate. Or if you need to bring the outside in, right? The idea of plants and flowers, very much present in both of these cards. So thinking about how you can surround yourself with life, right? So this is very much about bringing vitality and freshness and newness to your life and your business right now. And so by connecting with nature, whether that's going outside and physically being in nature or bringing more plants in as that reminder of life and freshness and vitality, is going to be so beneficial for you right now. So really it's kind of shining this bright star on what could be possible. So when you're coming to your meditation and journaling this month, just really getting clear on your intentions of what new ideas are coming through and what you want to birth and what your vision is, and taking action on that, knowing that you are supported to bring in new ideas and new projects right now.
So the lightning card came up for me. And for me, the lightning card is always about an unexpected change. Like something is just going to happen like that. Something's going to drop in. You're not going to see it coming. And it's going to change the entire landscape of your life. So fertility, maybe. But it could, like Naomi said, not necessarily human baby. Could be an idea. It could be this new game-changing idea that just drops in without any warning that could change the landscape of your business. So just be open to that. Be open to the possibility of new things. And if possible, create an environment where you have the headspace to receive new ideas. So if that means physically decluttering your home, maybe, or it could mean getting outside, like Naomi said, like immersing yourself in like physical nature. It could be about like working on your bedtime routine and making sure you get more sleep. It could be like detoxing yourself, like nutritionally. It could like whatever you can do to just make some space and to like make yourself feel a bit lighter and more in flow. Like that is the energy that you want if you're waiting for ideas to hit. Would also be useful, like if the thing that drops in is a baby, because you will have less clutter and you'll be better rested. So it works on every level, really, if you think about it. And then the other card that came up was compassion. And you can see like this is the ultimate nature card. So just echoing what Naomi said there, like if you can get outside and be in nature, then do that. If you're, like she said, in an environment where that's not really possible right now, then you can like bring plants indoors. You can like listen to nature noises. So if you meditate or if you like to listen to things while you go to sleep, think about sounds like running water or birds chirping or rustling leaves, that kind of thing. And like think about how you can bring your other senses in. So even if you can't physically get outside and stand next to a tree, you can like have plants in your home. You could have artwork of things from nature in your home. You could like wear colors that are like earthy colors, so like greens and browns and like sandy colors. You could listen to the noises. You could eat things that are more like more fruit, more vegetable, things of the earth, and really just like try and bring elements of nature into your bubble as much as you can for the month of December. So I would absolutely love to hear from you, my Piscean friends, and let me know like what you are going to do on this front. Like how are you going to bring nature more into your physical environment for the month of December? Let us know in the comments.